Picture this, you walk into your boyfriend's apartment, ready to surprise him with dinner, and instead you find him in bed with another woman. Not only that, she has no idea you exist. What would you do? Cry? Run? Or, like our storyteller today, turn betrayal into the sweetest revenge? If you've ever wished cheaters could get exactly what they deserve, you're going to love this story. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's dive into one of the most satisfying revenge stories you'll hear all week. Our story begins in Redmond, Washington, a bustling suburb outside Seattle where tech jobs are as common as rain. That's where he lived. Let's call him S. Now, here's the first red flag. His real name? It didn't start with an S. It started with an M, the most common male name in the world, but he liked S better. Why? Because it gave him a mask, a new identity, a way to run the same game on multiple women without anyone putting the pieces together. On the surface, S was the total package. He worked at Amazon. He dressed well. He had the confident, slightly arrogant grin of someone who knew how to charm his way into almost any situation. To women who met him on dating apps, he looked like a catch. But here's the truth, S wasn't a catch. He was a hunter. And his prey? Women he thought were insecure. Women who wanted love but had maybe been overlooked before. Women he could push around, manipulate, and discard when he got bored. He'd lean close, lower his voice, and say things like, "Relax. I've never gotten a girl pregnant." That was his line. His justification for refusing protection. And if a woman resisted, he'd sulk, make her feel like she was the problem. Or worse, he'd belittle her. Comment on her body, her ethnicity, her habits. Anything he could use to chip away at her confidence until she gave in. For S, it was never about love. Never about partnership. Women were objects, interchangeable, disposable. He kept several going at once, juggling them like plates spinning in the air. If one suspected too much, he'd drop her, then swipe right on another. The cycle never stopped. Until one night, his main girlfriend, we'll call her Anna, had been dating him for months. She wasn't blind. She had noticed the subtle changes, the late replies to her texts, the excuses about work, the way he seemed slightly detached even when they were together. Her instincts told her something was wrong. And if there's one thing I've learned from stories like this, it's this: a woman's gut is rarely wrong. So, Anna decided to test her instincts. She didn't text ahead, didn't warn him. She just drove over to his apartment one evening, heart pounding in her chest, praying she was wrong. But when she opened the door, her worst nightmare unfolded in real time. There he was, in bed, with another woman. The room froze. 3 pairs of eyes locked in disbelief. S jumped up first, stammering, "Babe, it's not what it looks like. I told you, we broke up." But here's the kicker. The other woman had no idea Anna even existed. She sat up, eyes wide, blanket clutched to her chest, utterly shocked. The next morning, while the world was just starting to stir, Anna drove back to his apartment complex, parked right near his car. The one thing S loved almost as much as himself. She got out with a can of paint in her hand. The air was crisp, the silence heavy, broken only by the faint hum of traffic in the distance. Her hand trembled, not from fear, but from adrenaline. And then, stroke by stroke, she wrote a single word across the side of his car in massive, bold letters. Red paint dripping down the doors like blood. No mistaking it, no hiding it. She stepped back, heart racing, and smiled for the first time since the betrayal. Later that morning, S started outside, probably thinking he had smoothed everything over with his web of lies. But when he saw his car, the smugness drained right off his face. Neighbors stared. People slowed down to gawk. There was no denying it, no spinning it. His secret life was plastered for the world to see. The man who thought he was untouchable. The man who thought women were disposable. The man who lived in lies, had been branded with the truth. And Anna? She didn't need to scream. She didn't need to beg. She got her closure watching his humiliation. There's something deeply satisfying about this kind of justice. You can play games, you can manipulate people, but eventually, the truth finds a way to come out. And sometimes, it's painted in letters so bold the whole neighborhood can see. If this story gave you chills, smash that like button and tell us in the comments, what's the most satisfying revenge you've ever witnessed? And of course, subscribe for more stories like this, because karma always has a way of catching up.